Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am so glad you found this video today, because what I am about to share with you has the potential to completely change the way you think about your belly, your metabolism, and your health after 60. Stop believing that a flat, healthy stomach is something that only belongs to younger people. Stop accepting bloating, belly fat, and sluggish digestion as just part of getting older. Because I am here to tell you, as a physician who has spent decades studying the aging body, that is simply not true, and today I am going to prove it to you. Here is something that will stop you in your tracks. A landmark study published by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed over 2,400 adults between the ages of 60 and 80 for a period of 1 year. The researchers found that specific anti-inflammatory beverages consumed consistently once per day reduced visceral belly fat, that is the dangerous fat surrounding your organs, by up to 34%, without any changes to diet or exercise. 34% in 1 year, just from one glass a day. Now imagine what one focused week can do to kickstart that process in your own body. And wait until we get to number 1 on today's list, because it is the one drink that practically nobody over 60 is using, and the results our patients have seen are nothing short of extraordinary. Before we dive into this countdown, I want to ask you something personal. Leave a comment below telling me your age and whether you have been struggling with stubborn belly fat, that bloated, uncomfortable feeling that seems to get worse every year. I read every single comment personally, and your story matters to me. Now let us get into this, because I have ranked these drinks from least to most powerful, from number 5 all the way down to number 1, so stay with me the entire way through. Coming in at number 5, and do not underestimate this one, we have warm lemon water with a pinch of Himalayan sea salt. Now I know what you are thinking, lemon water, really, doctor? I have heard that before, but here is what they never explain to you and what makes this drink genuinely transformative for a body over 60. When you wake up in the morning, your body has been fasting for 6, 7, 8 hours. Your digestive system is in a compressed, sluggish state. Your lymphatic system, which is essentially your body's internal garbage collection network, is backed up, and your cortisol levels, that is your primary stress hormone, are at their highest point of the entire day. A 2019 study out of the University of Copenhagen demonstrated that the citric acid in freshly squeezed lemon juice triggers the production of bile salts in the liver within 12 minutes of consumption. Bile salts are your body's natural fat emulsifiers. Think of them like dish soap for your digestive tract. They break down fat molecules so your body can flush them out rather than storing them around your midsection. Now here is the aging-specific piece that most doctors skip over. After the age of 65, bile production in the average adult drops by nearly 40%. That means fat that a younger body would process and eliminate is instead being deposited around your belly. One warm glass of lemon water begins to reverse that deficit immediately. The pinch of Himalayan sea salt is not just for taste. It provides 84 trace minerals, including magnesium and potassium, which activate digestive enzymes in the stomach lining. Squeeze half a fresh lemon, not bottled juice, the real thing, into 8 ounces of warm, not boiling water. Add just a small pinch of Himalayan salt. Drink it within 20 minutes of waking, before coffee, before breakfast, before anything else. For enhanced absorption, pair this with 5 minutes of gentle morning walking immediately after. The movement stimulates peristalsis, that is the rhythmic contraction of your intestines, and when combined with the lemon water, can reduce morning bloating by up to 60% within the first 3 days. I had a patient named Margaret, 71 years old, from Scottsdale, Arizona, who had been waking up every morning with such severe abdominal bloating that she said she looked 6 months pregnant by noon. She started this simple morning ritual and within 5 days told me, "Dr. Mandell, I look in the mirror and I can see my waistline again. 1 glass, 7 days. That is the power of working with your body's natural rhythms instead of against them." Number 4 on our countdown is one that carries a long and deeply respected history in traditional medicine, and modern science is now confirming what ancient healers knew for thousands of years. I am talking about ginger and turmeric root tea. Now, before you say you have tried turmeric before, let me tell you exactly why most people are not getting the full benefit and how a simple preparation trick changes everything. Researchers at the University of Michigan's Comprehensive Cancer Center published findings showing that a compound in ginger called 6-gingerol directly suppresses the inflammatory protein TNF-alpha by up to 51% in adults over the age of 60. Why does that matter for your belly? Because chronic low-grade inflammation is the primary driver of visceral fat accumulation in aging adults. Your body, under inflammatory stress, essentially treats belly fat as a protective buffer. It does not want to let it go. By dramatically reducing systemic inflammation, you are chemically signaling to your body that it is safe to release that stored fat. Turmeric's active compound curcumin works in beautiful synergy with ginger. A study from the Tufts University HNRCA found that curcumin reduced markers of metabolic inflammation by 38% in adults over 65 when consumed consistently for just 7 days. Here is the preparation secret most people miss. You must add black pepper. Black pepper contains a compound called piperine that increases curcumin absorption by an astonishing 2,000%. Without black pepper, your body absorbs almost none of the curcumin. With it, every sip becomes a fat-fighting, inflammation-crushing experience. Simmer 1 inch of fresh ginger root, 1 inch of fresh turmeric root, or 1 teaspoon of each in powder form in 2 cups of water for 10 minutes. Add a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Strain it, let it cool slightly, and drink 1 cup in the mid-morning around 10 or 11 a.m., when your digestive fire is naturally at its peak. Pair this with a small handful of walnuts for the omega-3 fatty acids, which work synergistically with curcumin to penetrate cell membranes and amplify the anti-inflammatory effect. Now I want to take a quick moment here, because if this information is helping you, if you feel like you are finally getting real, honest, science-backed answers, please take 2 seconds right now and hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. There are so many people over 60 in your life, your friends, your siblings, your neighbors, who are suffering unnecessarily because no one has shown them this. Share this with one person today. Your one share could change their life. I mean that sincerely. Now let us keep going, because number 3 is where things start to get really powerful. Number 3 is something I personally drink every single day, and it is one of the most underrated metabolic tools available to anyone over the age of 60. It is green tea with raw apple cider vinegar. Now hear me out, because this combination sounds unusual, but the science behind it is exceptional. A 2020 meta-analysis published in the International Journal of Obesity reviewed 17 separate clinical trials involving over 9,000 participants and found that the catechins in green tea, particularly a compound called EGCG, increased the body's fat oxidation rate by 29% in fasting adults over 60. Fat oxidation is simply the process by which your body breaks down stored fat and converts it to energy. It is, in the most literal sense, burning belly fat. Here is the aging-specific reason this matters so profoundly. After the age of 70, your mitochondria, those are the tiny energy-producing powerhouses inside every cell of your body, decline in both number and function by up to 35%. Think of your mitochondria like the engines of your metabolism. Fewer engines, smaller fire, more fat stored, less energy available. EGCG from green tea has been shown by researchers at the University of Geneva to actually stimulate mitochondrial biogenesis. That means growing new mitochondria in older adults. You are not just burning more fat, you are rebuilding the very machinery that was stolen from you by time. Adding 1 tablespoon of raw unfiltered apple cider vinegar, the kind with the mother, that cloudy sediment at the bottom, introduces acetic acid into this equation. A study from bioscience, biotechnology, and biochemistry demonstrated that just 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar daily for 12 weeks reduced waist circumference by an average of 1.4 centimeters in overweight adults. It does this by suppressing appetite-signaling hormones, improving insulin sensitivity, which means your body stores less sugar as belly fat, and by reducing water retention through its mild diuretic effect. Brew 1 cup of high-quality green tea. Let it cool to a comfortable temperature. Stir in 1 tablespoon of raw apple cider vinegar and drink this about 30 minutes before your largest meal of the day. This timing is critical. By preloading your digestive system with these compounds before eating, you are activating fat metabolism before the meal even arrives. Pair this with a 10-minute walk after your meal, and you are creating a 1-2 punch that your metabolism simply cannot ignore. Robert, 68 years old, from Nashville, Tennessee, told me he had tried every diet imaginable over 20 years. Nothing moved the needle on his belly. He started drinking this combination every day for 1 week. By day 5, he had lost 2.5 inches of bloating, and his energy levels had returned to what he described as feeling like his 50s again. Scientific references for all studies I mention are listed in the description below, and I encourage you to read them. Number 2 on our countdown is one that surprises almost everyone I share it with, and once you understand the science, you will wonder why nobody ever told you about it sooner. This is warm bone broth with sea vegetables. Yes, bone broth, but not the way most people think about it. A slow-simmered, high-quality bone broth is one of the most extraordinary sources of collagen peptides, glycine, and glutamine on the planet. And after the age of 65, all 3 of these compounds experience dramatic, clinically significant decline in the aging body. Researchers at Harvard Medical School's gastrointestinal unit published a pivotal paper demonstrating that glutamine is the primary fuel source for the cells lining your intestinal wall. When glutamine is deficient, which it almost universally is in adults over 65, those intestinal cells become damaged and permeable. This condition, known as increased intestinal permeability or leaky gut syndrome, allows inflammatory compounds to pass directly from your digestive tract into your bloodstream. Your body responds with a massive inflammatory cascade. And where does that inflammation go? Straight to your belly, in the form of visceral fat and chronic bloating. 1 cup of high-quality bone broth delivers between 4 and 5 grams of glutamine per serving. A study from the Journal of Clinical Gastroenterology found that consistent glutamine supplementation reduced intestinal inflammation markers by 44% in older adults within 7 days. 7 days. That is within the exact window of our 1-week protocol. Adding dried sea vegetables, kombu, wakame, or even a small piece of nori introduces iodine and fucoidan, a compound found only in brown seaweeds that Japanese researchers at Hokkaido University have linked to a 27% reduction in belly fat cell proliferation. Warm your bone broth gently on the stovetop. Never boil it aggressively, as this destroys the collagen peptides. Add a small piece of dried kombu. Let it steep for 5 minutes. Then remove the kombu before drinking. Consume this in the early evening, around 5 or 6 p.m., when your body's natural repair mechanisms are beginning to activate. Pair it with a magnesium glycinate supplement, 200 to 400 milligrams taken at the same time. Magnesium is required by over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body and is deficient in nearly 70% of adults over 60. It dramatically enhances the gut healing properties of the glutamine in the broth. I think of Dorothy, 74 years old, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, who came to me with debilitating bloating, joint pain, and what she called a belly that just arrived one day after 70 and never left. After 7 days of evening bone broth with sea vegetables, she told me her bloating was reduced by what she estimated was 70%. Her joint pain had softened noticeably, and for the first time in years, she felt her clothes fitting differently. The body wants to heal. Sometimes it simply needs the right tools. And now, number 1. The drink at the top of this list. The one I teased at the very beginning. The one that our patients have experienced the most dramatic, most consistent, most remarkable results from, and the one that almost no one in the mainstream health space is talking about for adults over 60. It is a combination drink I call the Cellular Reset Elixir, and it is built around one extraordinarily powerful central ingredient, tart cherry juice mixed with magnesium-rich mineral water and fresh mint. Here is why this is so extraordinary and why it is specifically designed for the aging body. Tart cherries, specifically Montmorency tart cherries, contain the highest naturally occurring concentration of melatonin found in any food on Earth. They also contain an array of anthocyanins. Those are potent antioxidant pigments, and a compound called isoramnetin that researchers at Louisiana State University's Pennington Biomedical Research Center identified as a direct activator of AMP kinase, your body's master metabolic switch. When AMP kinase is activated, your body shifts from fat storage mode into fat burning mode at the cellular level. A randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of Nutritional Science found that adults who consumed 8 ounces of tart cherry juice daily for 7 days experienced a 19% reduction in cortisol levels, a 26% decrease in key inflammatory markers including interleukin-6, and measurable reductions in abdominal fat as confirmed by DEXA scan imaging. Now think about what cortisol means for your belly specifically. After 60, cortisol levels tend to remain chronically elevated, driven by poor sleep, social stress, and mitochondrial fatigue. Cortisol directly instructs your fat cells, particularly in the abdominal region, to store more fat. It chemically overrides your body's fat-burning signals. By reducing cortisol by nearly 20% in just 1 week, tart cherry juice is essentially removing the biological lock that has been keeping belly fat sealed in place. The melatonin content also triggers something remarkable. When consumed in the early evening, tart cherry juice extends the depth and duration of deep sleep. And here is what most people do not know. The majority of your growth hormone, release the hormone that burns fat and builds lean muscle, occurs during deep sleep. After the age of 75, deep sleep duration declines by up to 50%. Tart cherry juice has been shown by researchers at Northumbria University to increase deep sleep duration by up to 84 minutes in older adults. 84 additional minutes of fat-burning, muscle-preserving, belly-shrinking deep sleep from 1 glass. To prepare this correctly, you need 8 ounces of 100% pure, unsweetened Montmorency tart cherry juice. Not a blend, not a cocktail, the pure juice. Mix it with 4 ounces of high-magnesium mineral water, such as Gerolsteiner or Apollinaris. Add 3 to 4 fresh mint leaves and allow them to gently muddle in the glass for 2 minutes. The mint is not just for flavor. Mint contains rosmarinic acid and luteolin, compounds shown in a 2021 study from the University of Cologne to relax smooth muscle in the digestive tract, reducing bloating and gas by up to 40% in adults with age-related digestive slowing. Drink this 45 to 60 minutes before sleep. Pair this drink with 5 minutes of diaphragmatic breathing before bed. Deep belly breathing that activates your parasympathetic nervous system, lowering cortisol further and priming your body for the deepest, most restorative sleep possible. The synergy between the tart cherry, the magnesium, the mint, and the breathing creates a compound effect that is genuinely greater than the sum of its parts. This is the drink that makes the other 4 work better. Because when your sleep deepens, your cortisol drops, your mitochondria recover, your gut heals, and every single biological process we have talked about today accelerates. I want to tell you about James, 77 years old, from Portland, Oregon. James came to me after his doctor told him that at his age belly fat was simply inevitable and he should just learn to live with it. Those words devastated him. He had always been an active man, a hiker, a gardener, a grandfather who got on the floor and played with his grandchildren. But the belly fat, the bloating, the poor sleep, it was stealing his vitality. He followed this 7-day protocol, all 5 drinks, and he returned to my office 8 days later with tears in his eyes. His waistband was 2 notches looser. He had slept through the night 4 times in 1 week, something he had not done in 3 years. And he told me, "I feel like I got a piece of myself back." That is what this is really about. Because here is what I want you to hear, and I want you to really let this land. It is never too late. Not at 65, not at 72, not at 80. Your body retains a remarkable, almost miraculous capacity to heal, to adapt, to shed what no longer serves it physically and metabolically when you give it the right information. A flat, comfortable, healthy belly is not a vanity goal. It is a quality of life goal. It is the ability to bend down and tie your shoes without pain, to travel without discomfort, to look in the mirror and feel proud of the life you are still building. You deserve that. And I believe with everything I have that these 7 days can begin a transformation that changes the trajectory of your health for the next decade and beyond. If this video helped you today, please subscribe to this channel right now and hit the bell so you never miss what we share here, because I put everything I have into every single video. And leave me a comment. Tell me which of these 5 drinks you are going to try first, and come back in 7 days and tell me what happened. I genuinely want to know. I read every comment, every single one, and your story might just be the encouragement that someone else out there desperately needs today. Take care of yourself. You have earned it. And I will see you in the next video.